To begin customizing the WooCommerce plugin for your online store, we'll go to WooCommerce, hover over that, and click on Settings. And I'm going to go ahead and just dismiss these real quick so that they're not in the way. And so the first thing we're going to do is base location. And I'm going to change that from United Kingdom to wherever you're at, so US and Utah. Selling location, so where you want to sell to, we'll leave that as sell to all countries. And then default customer address, I'm just going to leave that as is. Basically, before a customer enters any address, this is where the default will be. And then these two I'm going to leave as is. And then if I scroll down to currency options, I'm going to change the currency. If I scroll down to US dollars, and then just how it's displayed, you can have it display on the left, on the right. I'll leave it on the left. And then the thousand separator will be a comma, decimal separator a period, and I'll leave those as is, and then have the decimal number of decimals as 2, and then I'll just hit Save Changes. Now let's move on to the Products tab. So I'll click on Products, and here we can change the units of measure, and ours is a virtual product, so I don't need to touch this, but you can change it from kilograms to show pounds instead, or centimeters to show inches. So you can completely customize that. And then we can edit different things with product ratings, such as only allow reviews from verified owners, stuff like that. So that can be customized, but we're actually going to disable ratings on reviews, and I'll just hit Save Changes. Then let's click on Display. And now on Display, we have this Shop and Products pages. So if we go to our site, you remember that it asks us to install WooCommerce pages, and you can see up in the top that it's automatically added those created pages to our navigation bar. And later we'll be able to pick which ones we want to use and which ones we want to include up here and stuff. But for now, let's just edit this stuff. So we can edit the shop page, and the shop page just shows pretty much all of your products. So you can see here I only have one product, but it shows right here. It's kind of like an archive for your products. So I can change, where I want the shop page to actually appear. It could be on a sample page or another page that I created previously. And then we can change, instead of showing just product, we can show categories, subcategories. So quite a few things we can edit, but we'll just leave that as is. And then this add to cart behavior right here, this redirect to cart page after successful addition. So currently, if I were to add a product to cart, you can see it doesn't automatically take me to the cart page. I'd have to click here or here to go to the cart page, and let me just click it so you can see what it looks like. There it is. But I don't want that. I want it to directly come here, so it's one less step rather than them having to add to cart and then clicking view cart. And so to do that, I'm just going to check that box. And then down here we can edit the sizes of product images and such. And we already have this enabled, the light box for product images. So now that that's all done, we'll just go ahead and hit Save Changes. Now let's click on Inventory. And again, for this product, we don't have to worry about inventory because I'm not shipping any physical goods, and there's no limit on the number of people that can get an access code. So I'm going to disable the stock management because I don't have to worry about it. But if you do have to worry about physical inventory, there's just some pretty useful settings that you can play around with. I'll hit Save Changes and then go on to downloadable products. And so leave this as is. Access restrictions, so we can require them to create a username and password before they buy something and have to actually log in for them to actually download the file. But I don't want to have them to do any type of login stuff because that's just another step that people have to do. So leave that unchecked, and then as soon as they pay, they'll be able to download. So that's good as is. So don't have to change anything here. Moving on to the Tax tab, let's click Tax. And so you can have WooCommerce calculate how much tax is owed on a specific item and then include that in the total price. We're not going to include the tax in the price, so I'm going to leave this disabled. But if you did, then there's a couple things you can customize down here. And the way it calculates the tax is through this standard rates right here, this part of the tab. And so basically you need to figure out with your accountant how much you have to tax and what the rate is based on different states or different countries, and then you insert those rates in here. So you can insert a row and then say, for the United States you'd have a row for there and put the applicable tax rate, but say in a different country, maybe in France, the tax rate is different, so insert another row, put the country code and the different rate, and then when people enter in their address for something, say like their shipping, then it's going to reference this table. And so they say that their shipping address is in the United States. Well, it should apply this tax class. So based on what information they give you, then it will reference this table, and if you've put in all the right information, then it will calculate the tax correctly for each customer. And you can do this pretty much the same thing for reduced rates and such, zero rate rates. So yeah, that's the tax portion. Now here in the checkout tab, we have the use of coupons currently enabled. So if someone adds a product to their cart, they have the ability to add a certain coupon code, which is great for discounts or for tracking different marketing tactics and such. However, for this site, we're going to disable that, so I'll just check that. Guest checkout is already checked, which I want because then people don't have to create an account just to buy something on our website. And this is by default unchecked for secure checkout, and we'll leave that as is because they'll be checking out through PayPal, so we don't have to worry about security of our site because they won't be entering sensitive data. Then the checkout pages and checkout endpoints, I'm going to leave those as is. And then down here we have the gateway display order, so we can change the order of the different payment options and stuff, and we can also check which ones we want and don't want. So yeah, I could check the order. If I want PayPal to appear first, I can just go like that. And again, I can disable some, and I'm actually going to disable everything except for PayPal. And that's because they can pay through PayPal, but also through the PayPal gateway, PayPal allows them to add a credit card or debit card. So they don't even have to have a PayPal account. With PayPal, they can even use their credit card or debit card, and PayPal takes care of all the security and all of that. So to disable these other ones, because I don't want to have to deal with checks and stuff like that, we'll just hit settings, and then where it says enable check payment, I'm going to uncheck that, save changes. Let's go back to checkout options, scroll down. Now you can see only the direct bank transfer and PayPal are checked, and I'm going to select the settings for this one, deselect enable bank transfer, save changes, and go back. And now you can see only PayPal is enabled, so that's how I want it, and let's just hit save changes. Next to checkout options, you'll notice some other links, and these are just links to the settings of these different payment options, and you can also find links to the settings of these options down here. So for instance, with PayPal, I could click here to go into the settings to set up PayPal, or click up here, take me to the same place. So for any payment option that you have enabled, make sure you go to the settings and set it up. So we'll start with PayPal. I'll click settings. And for the title, so this is just what people see when it's like, okay, which payment option. And I'm going to include it to say PayPal or credit/debit card, so that people know that they can also pay with their debit card even if they click PayPal as their payment option. And I'm going to just edit this a little bit. Pay via PayPal or with your credit card. Payment PayPal email, so put that in there. Leave these. And if this is, because you can have multiple emails on your PayPal account, if this isn't the main email, then just down here put the main email. And the rest of the stuff I can just leave as is and hit save changes. Here in the shipping tab, there's a lot of different things you can customize. However, for this product, again, it is intangible, nothing physical shipped. So I'm just going to deselect shipping and hit Save Changes. Move on to the Accounts tab. And I pretty much don't want them to have to create an account so that they can make their purchase as quickly as possible. So I'm going to disable registration on the checkout page. And anything else relating to an account, I'm going to disable and then hit Save Changes. Now in the Emails tab, WooCommerce has a lot of awesome emails that are automated. So when someone creates a new order, for instance, then you'll receive an email saying, hey, someone created a new order. Or when they actually make their purchase, they'll receive an invoice, customer invoice of their order. And so any of these emails you can customize. And later on we'll look at what some of these emails look like, but usually they look pretty good. They have what they need, so I don't touch any of this stuff. But in email options, we will change a few things. So click on email options. So by default, it puts in the from email address. So when a customer receives an email, it'll be from the email that is associated with your WordPress account. So in settings and then general, you see here we have this email. So that's the default of where people will receive an email from. But in addition, that's the email where you will receive emails. So when someone creates a new order, then you'll receive an email to the email you have here in the settings. You can change this, so the from address, so they'll get their email from a different email. So we'll change that. But again, this won't affect where you get your emails from, even though this is the at hello@build.co.com, you're still going to receive emails to the email you have in your settings. So this is only for the customers to see. And then we can change the name that the email comes from. So, when they get a customer invoice, it's going to be from build.code and from this email address. And then I'll just put this down in the footer of every email. It'll say build.code powered by WooCommerce. So I'll just change those, hit Save Changes. And then webhooks basically is you can have it set so when a certain action occurs, it causes something else to happen. So let's say you can have something set up so that when you add a new product, it immediately posts something to a social media account. But we're just going to leave this as is.